Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Rotor Talk Live. Season 2, Episode 11 starts right now. How is everybody today? I hope everybody had a great Tuesday. My day at work went fairly well, so I can't really complain about that. We had, as you probably saw, I went ahead and I had some breaking news, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Mitch, welcome. Andre, welcome. Everyone on Ed's channel right now. Yeah, I did see that. So, just want to go ahead, and kind of talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. Let's talk about my Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. Stacy, welcome. Peter, welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm going to talk about my Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. Floyd, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. And in the unique unboxing video, I got to give Peter welcome. Robert, welcome. Whizbang99, welcome. David Ma, Ethan, thanks for stopping by. Tim Dow, welcome. Just had a lot of fun with the unboxing video of the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. I thought you guys would really enjoy that, and I got to give my beautiful wife a lot of credit for that. She helped me with the design and everything. Mitch, glad you're here tonight. She helped me with the design. We thought about it. We went over it and said, you know what? Why don't we start it off like you're going to give a tour of everything? We'll start out with the boxes and then pick up the latest box. And, you know, it felt heavy. So let's go out, take a look at it in the kitchen, take it out on the island, and then boom. And it went well. Lon, welcome. Marcus, welcome. Cardasso, welcome. So yeah, I thought that was just absolutely stellar. I mean, I give a lot of kudos to my beautiful wife for that. So you know, definitely give her a shout out for that. I can't thank her enough for that. That was just, I wanted to do something different. Boom, President accounted for. Curtis, welcome. Steve Carpenter, welcome. Glad that you were able to join us tonight. Yeah, I was just talking about the Jim Harris. Just talking about my unique unboxing video. I wanted to do something different. Well, we did something different. SB's TV. Oh, Joe, welcome from Joe's Drone Life. Thanks for showing up tonight. Yeah, so we're we wanted to do something different. Now, we did do something different with the Mavic 2 Pro unboxing video. I did one called the Unboxing Zone and kind of based it on the Twilight Zone, and I thought that was pretty good too. Valerie got a big chuckle out of that. She helped me with that one as well. So yeah, thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that. We just had a blast. I mean, you know, and that's one thing because, you know, a vanilla unboxing video, there are a dime a dozen out there. I mean, and guys do great jobs. You got people that do normal unboxing videos, do a fantastic job. But I wanted to do something different to kind of make it stand out a little bit. And I talked it over with Valerie, and we put our heads together on that. And, you know, it sounded like this would be something that would really kind of stand out and be different. And I really, really, really liked it. I mean, and everybody, the comments on there, Jeanette Wilson. Oh, for Horse Education. Oh, Jeanette, I know exactly who you are. Welcome tonight. Thank you for showing up. Thomas, welcome. Thank you for showing up tonight. So yeah, it was, I got, and just to tell you about the drone itself, Matthew McCain, welcome. Glad you're here tonight. I did a lot of looking, and I have been looking for weeks for a Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. Finding new ones is hard, and finding used ones is even harder. And, you know, I hit the forums. I went along with what Mitch, old guy in a drone, suggested, put some feelers out there. Ultimately, I ended up finding it on eBay. Drone Worship, thanks for showing up tonight. Rick Alber, thank you for showing up tonight. So what I did was, you know, I found the gentleman. He lives in a retiring community a little over an hour from Tampa. So went up there on Saturday. Yeah, we went up there. It was up on Saturday. And listen to this, guys. This drone is less than 2 hours, has 2 hours of flight time on it. It looked like it came out of the box, brand new, fantastic. I got it for $1,100. I was just, and I couldn't be more impressed with it. Now, the only thing, you know, and I got some videos coming up on it. I'm not going to spoil a lot of that coming up. I have a first flight video coming out. But one of the things I can tell you is the control sticks on that are unbelievably sensitive and very, I guess, let me put it this way. They're incredibly responsive, which is fantastic. And I got to give kudos to Mel. I don't know if he's on tonight or not, but when the very first Phantom 4 I ever flew was his last year. And, he's the one that taught me the technique about pinching. And once I learned to do that, and I did that with mine, I'll tell you what, it was fantastic. It was just unbelievable. Had just a great experience. So you're going to see, there's going to be a lot of videos coming up on that. And I'm probably going to do some comparisons between the Mavic 2 Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. But, and one of the other things that I can tell you, I'm not going to, drone only Mavic 2s. No, I did not see that, Lon. That is very interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. One of the things I am going to be doing is a comparison videos between the Mavic 2 Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. So stay tuned for those. I think we're gonna have some fun with that. We're gonna have a good time. Drone Worship, thanks for showing up tonight, and thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Cole Somerville, welcome. Thanks for showing up. So yeah, one of the big things that I wanted to talk about tonight was, and I don't have an article, and I'm not going to post an article on it. There was a very unfortunate accident that happened to somebody last week with a drone, and I kind of wanted to do this as more of a public service announcement. Drone Shots, welcome. Thanks for showing up. It takes a while, Marcus, but I learned how to pinch, and I'll tell you what, it makes a big difference. I can tell you that the control that you have is absolutely fantastic. What I wanted to talk about what happened last week, and you probably saw this if you look for anything in the news. There was a gentleman who was in Georgia who was trying to retrieve his drone, and it was near some power lines, and apparently the apparatus he was using was metal, and he got electrocuted last week. And, I'm telling you guys, if, and this is a public service announcement from me, from anybody, get professional help. If it's near a power line, call the power company. They're the guys that can deal with that kind of stuff. They are trained. They have the equipment to do that. Don't be shy about that, okay? And don't feel embarrassed that your drone got stuck near a power line or up in a tree with something like that. If it's in an inaccessible area, guys, try to find a professional to help you out. Don't attempt that yourself. You could, the story could have just been as easily that gentleman, climbed up there in a tree and fell and broke his neck. I mean, it's not worth it. You can get another drone, okay? Unfortunately, this family has lost a loved one because of that. And I can't emphasize enough, and I've seen guys go after drones before, and that's your call. But for me, and for what I have to say about that, Art, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. My advice, no matter what kind of drone, if it's stuck up there, it can be replaced. Okay. Understand that. Emphasize, underscore, exclamation mark, don't even think about going after it, because bad things can happen when that happens. All right. If it's on the ground, that's a different story. If you have a GPS, your GPS locator is enabled and you can find it no matter what kind of drone it is. You're right, Marcus. No quadcopter is worth that kind of a risk at going to recover that. Okay. Say my Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 got stuck somewhere near a power line. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm calling my local power company and saying, hey guys, my drone's stuck. It's near a power line. Can you guys help me out? All right. Because it's not worth it, and I'm a big believer in purchasing drone insurance. And I did purchase drone insurance for the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 from State Farm. And I have a State Farm policy on my Mavic 2 Pro. That's something I firmly believe in, guys. It's just absolute positive. That's just something you do. So this is more of a public service announcement. I didn't want to put any pictures or show the article up there. There's several articles. I just feel very sorry for this gentleman's family who's lost a loved one because he went after his drone. So just as a, just to let you guys know, I feel very strongly about this, and this is what I wanted to lead in with. Now I kind of got some good news. I got a good news story here, and it's we're gonna watch a little bit of the Daytona 500. And you're gonna ask me, why are we watching a little bit of the Daytona 500? Well, that's gonna come up here in a second. So hang on. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and do a screen share here. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and play this clip here.
He's saying right now, Mike. I'm always job. Air traffic control for a NASCAR racer at 200 miles an hour. Stenhouse Jr. That's Kevin Harvick recognizing that he can push the 17 to Stenhouse to maintain that outside lane, but every time that Stenhouse is moving down the side track.
Okay. You guys saw that. It's a NASCAR race, okay? Well, guess what? All right, I'm gonna share this article with you. That was filmed from an Inspire 2, guys. This part of the Daytona 500. You heard me correctly. It was filmed from an Inspire 2. There was an article in Popular Science about this, and I found the clip. I wanted to find a clip about this, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. And they had to get approval. Now, if you're familiar at all with the Daytona 500 or the Daytona Beach area, the Daytona 500 is right next to the airport in Daytona. So they had to get a waiver from the FAA because it was in, obviously a no-fly zone. Steve Carpenter. Oh, Bill Thomas. Thanks for showing up tonight, my friend. Ken Ingram, thank you. Just saw you show in. So they had to get a waiver not only from the FAA, they had to get a waiver from the city of Daytona. You name it, they had to apply for it. And the article said they did not get permission to be able to fly the Inspire 2 until Friday. The race was the weekend. I mean, it was coming in at the last second, basically. One of the other things that they said was, the Inspire 2 was over a section of track. There were no spectators beneath it. And, they were very limited in terms of what they can do, their capabilities and things, where they could go. And it's basically, it was moving the camera around to follow it. Basically, the drone was kind of stationary, but, they could move a little bit. Now, it was real interesting. They said that the camera they used, I think they said it was an X7. And it was in 1080p, and they translated it to Fox Sports in 720p, and that's what they broadcast this in. But they said, from what I believe, this is the first time that this kind of a waiver has ever happened before in the United States. So that was really cool. I mean, Fox had used tether drones before at NASCAR events. This was the first time ever that they used an untethered drone at the event. And it was I thought it was very interesting. And I thought what I was expecting to hear was that there was some type of a parachute system on the Inspire 2, because even if it fell, it was gonna break apart and maybe cause some, debris to scatter. But I thought it was real interesting that they went ahead and they allowed Fox Sports to do this. I mean, it's just something you just don't see every day. I haven't seen it before, and I thought that was great because flight restrictions whenever there's a sporting event on, that's kind of commonplace. That's where that's what I think was absolutely fantastic is they got permission to be able to do this. They had to really pull a lot of strings to do this. The city of Daytona, the FAA, the Daytona Speedway, NASCAR. It was on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Drone Therapy's in the house. Thank you for showing up tonight. And this is a reminder, and glad I saw Drone Therapy here. Tomorrow night, okay, Bucket List Boys, 8:30 Eastern Time on Coast to Coast Drones, Drone Therapy, Bucket List Boys. Make sure you catch us on tomorrow night. Bill was on vacation last week. Bill's had a great time. I don't know if you'll be able to come back down to earth. Do you think that will happen? I'm not real sure about that. Bill was in Hawaii for a few days with his family, actually celebrating a wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to you, Bill, and your love and your wife. Glad you were able to enjoy some sun and not have to worry about a lot of things. And I know it's probably painful for you to go back home. We want to move. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. You know, I don't blame you. It's just like, I hear so many good things about it. And I think that's something that Valor and I are going to try to experience sometime. Although we have an event coming up in Ohio at the end of June that we're kind of saving our vacation time for. It's grandchild number 1. So in case you guys haven't heard that, that's coming up for us. So, oh yes, I'm looking forward to that. So guys, definitely want to tune in to Bucket List Boys tomorrow night at 8:30. Soon as Bill, if you got a link, post it in the chat. That would be great. Who wants to ride the Pineapple Express? If you got a link, post it in the chat. If not, send me the link. I'll get it posted out on the channel so people can catch it tomorrow night. Have a lot of fun with Ron and with Bill. We just have an absolute. Don, welcome. Thanks for showing up. How are things doing in Pittsburgh tonight? Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah, we're very excited about grandchild number 1 coming to us. So it's my daughter, and she's doing well. Baby is healthy. We couldn't be more excited. It just we're kind of on pins and needles, and I try not to think about it a lot because if I do, I'll probably drive myself stir crazy. So where the Phantom 4? Oh, Alon, I bought it off of a retired gentleman in a retirement village about a little over an hour from Tampa. Found it on eBay and got a great deal on it. It was 2 hours. 2 hours of flight time for $1,100, and it's in pristine shape. Absolutely, positively fantastic. So, yeah, I was really pleased. Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. So, that was tax refund, Lon. 100%. That's where that came from. Thank you, Uncle Sam. That's how that rolled. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm looking forward to getting. Got a Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 first flight video coming out, so be watching for that. I'm also going to be doing a live stream from that coming up probably over the weekend. Junior pilot on the way. You got that right. Baby is definitely going to have a drone in their hands probably sooner than my daughter wants to have baby have the drone. So just kind of along those lines. Although my son-in-law is a drone nut as well too, so shouldn't be a problem. We're gonna make sure that happens. Absolutely. So got another interesting article that I wanted to share with you guys, and I found this today, and it was just. I kind of found it by accident, but when I found it, I was like, wow. I just thought it was just absolutely fantastic. We have a lot going on in terms of, how the landscape is changing as far as laws are concerned regarding drones. Yeah, I was saving for the grandchild, but this tax money was there, Lon, so it was available, and I still got money saved up for the trip. So, but anyway, the landscape regarding laws regarding drones is changing. It seems like almost on a weekly basis, and the proposed laws they're talking about and so forth. That's something that we kind of need to be up on. And I think we find out things sometimes, and we go, oh, well, one of these things that I found out today was one of those. Oh, it was one. Now, I will post a link to this article in the description. The article is from Drone Life, and it's called "Pay Attention to This One." Let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen with you guys here. Okay. All right. Pay attention to this one. Can you be sued for flying a drone over private property? The next draft of that tort law. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar or not with tort laws and how all that stuff works. I'm going to kind of go down here. Now, this is done by a the ULC, by their own definition, provides states with nonpartisan, well-conceived, and well-drafted legislation that brings clarity and stability to critical areas of state statutory law. So it's just a draft. This is a proposed law that they're coming up with. And I'm gonna kind of scroll here and want to hone in on this paragraph. If the draft act becomes law, the mere presence of a drone in the airspace up to 200 feet over private property would be, by definition, injuring the landowner and committing aerial trespass. Essentially, the Draft Act does not recognize a distinction between a drone which harasses the property owners by hovering feet from a window and a drone operated by a certified professional hovering 1 foot inside a neighbor's property line to snap a photo of that adjacent property. In the article, there's a lot of information in here. They talked about the draft. The amount of time the unmanned aircraft was operated over the landowner's property, the altitude, the number of times it operated over the property, would have recorded or captured video, the landowner has regularly allowed operation of aircraft before, and so forth. There's a lot in here. And then there's definitions of intrusion on land. And I'll let you guys look at that at your leisure. I just wanted to go ahead and call your guys' attention to this because, I don't know about you guys, it's, no, Ethan, I haven't, but I have heard, and I think a lot of that has to do, Ethan brought up, has anyone noticed a long delay with the FAA for 107 licenses? I think a lot of that stemmed from the fact of the government shutdown, and they got I heard that they got way behind with that, Ethan. So if you're waiting on one, it's kind of like you have to bite your tongue on that. So Birdman, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. How was my trip? I went up north, an hour north here to get my drone. So that went real well. So, had absolutely no complaints with that. That fantastic. So, we have a lot to deal with in terms of restrictions on areas where we can fly, where we can't fly, that type of thing. We have to deal with that all day long. G-Boy 185. Welcome tonight. Thanks for showing up, my friend. Oops, there's two Bills. Oh, Bill Thomas. Bill Thomas went to Hawaii, Birdman. Sorry. And he will be talking about it tomorrow night on Coast to Coast Drones Bucket List Boys. So tune in. If you guys want to see, and I'm sure Bill will be happy to share pictures tomorrow night. So there's an incentive for you guys to come in and watch us tomorrow night. We have a blast on that show. We really do have a lot of fun. So Tim, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. I sure will. And that will go into Valerie's Coffee Fund, as I used to say when I was around the time of the Mavic 2 event. So, but that will go into Baby Trip Fund. So thank you. I appreciate that a lot, Tim. We have a hard time as it is trying to find places to go. I mean, we have great apps. We have AirMap, UAV Forecast, Kitty Hawk. All these apps have great, fantastic ability to kind of help us and guide us where to fly. Idaho has a law in the books that states you need written permission to fly over private property. It does not seem to be enforced, though. Thank you, Marcus, for bringing that up. I appreciate that. We have to, it's like walking on eggshells sometimes as far as being able to fly. Now, you guys know I fly out behind my property here, out over the lake. I don't fly over anybody ever, and it's always fantastic. Now, some other times, there is a soccer field behind a church that I've gone to before, and I've done some of my videos. In fact, the Mavic 2 video where I did all the different drone shots with that was filmed behind the church with the soccer field up there. So these are the two places that I fly on a regular basis, and they're both obviously right behind the house for me with being able to get out. And the soccer field's like about 10 minutes away, and it's fantastic, especially on holidays. There's never anybody there. And Sunday afternoons, obviously, there's never anybody there too. Jim Harris, is there a problem with DJI Assistant 2 not opening up? Can anybody answer that question? I haven't had. Now, I got to tell this is something else I wanted to share with you guys. We'll kind of going off going off subject here for a second, but Don Carson, I guess I should sue the airlines as flight path is over my home, and I know people take pics out of the plane windows. Pure craziness. You're right, Don. That's a good point. One of the things that that I found out was, there's different DJI assistants depending upon what drone you have. There's one for the Mavic 2. There's one for the Phantom 4. So I downloaded the one for the Phantom 4, and I kept getting a Windows 10 error. It wouldn't let me do it. So what I had to end up, Kevin Kuntz, aerial photography, welcome. So what I had to end up doing was run it as an administrator to be able to download it. And then I was able to download it, and I have to run it as an administrator. David Ma, welcome. Thank you for Phantom 4 Accessories Fund. Appreciate that. Appreciate that an awful lot. Drone Master, thanks for showing up tonight. Appreciate it. So I found out I have to run that as an administrator for the DJI Assistant for the Phantom 4. And I found out after going through all that trouble, hooking it up, there's only been one firmware update for the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 and for the controller. So, and it was all, there's only, I mean, it was already done. There's only been one firmware, and it was the original one that came out with. So there's been no updates. So I don't know. So, but I kind of got lucky with that. But, you bring up a good point, Marcus. I try to be as unobtrusive as possible in flying my drone. Stay low key. Absolutely. You don't want to call attention to yourself when you go out there flying. And, I wish Mel was on because I wanted to talk about the time that we met him and we went out to fly. And that's what he was. I mean, Mel had every drone that he had with us, okay? He had his Inspire 1. He had his Phantom 4 Pro. He had his Spark. He had his Mavic Air. He had all his drones there. And he has Mavic Pro at the time. That was before the Mavic 2 came out. And a guy from the sheriff's department, the deputy sheriff, came driving by. We were at a park. We were at Apollo Beach. And, he saw everything. He just waved and went on. And see, we were low key about it when we did that. And that's a good, Marcus, you bring up a good point with that. If you're low key and unobtrusive, you're not really, Ethan, you're right. It is very incognito, that number one, and number two, it's quiet. It's a very quiet drone. I'm finding out about the Phantom 4 resonance because in the body that there's, my good friend who, Curtis, told me about that tonight, and I had no idea there was that type of resonance. So Curtis, thank you for pointing that out tonight. That was good. And I thought, the Mavic Air was the Mavic Air is just as my friend Ian from the UK says, sounds like a hornet's nest. And I think he's kind of right on that. But yeah, you want to be unobtrusive when you're flying. You don't want to be calling attention to yourself. Set up your tripod, but just go about your business and don't be loud. Valor and I park in an area over by that lot. When we go over there, we don't park in the church lot. There's a little side entrance to the soccer field. We go in that way. I put my truck there, and we get our stuff out. We do our video, and we're done. We're usually out of there in 20, 25 minutes, and usually before and we go when nobody's there, when nobody's at the church. We always pick like a Sunday afternoon or a holiday, which seems to be fantastic times. No, Mel, not scared. I was complimenting you when you came down. We went to Apollo Beach Park and talking about flying unobtrusively and not really calling attention to yourself, and had the sheriff's deputy drive by, and we just kind of waved at him and went and did his thing, and we did our thing. We flew and we had a blast doing that. Had a great time with Mel when he came down here to fly at Apollo Beach Park. That park, unfortunately, they're going through renovations and it's closed. It's an absolutely great place to fly. If you watch that clip that I filmed, and Mel put a clip out on his channel as well too. It's right by, there's cooling towers over there for a power plant. But what's really cool, and you can't fly over them, there's manatees are over there, and it's a very protected area. But straight ahead from Apollo Beach Park was the MacDill Air Force Base, and you could see over in the horizon, you could see Tampa, and you can also see St. Pete. So it's a great place. So it's very scenic there. It's very, very, very picturesque. And it's a small beach, but nonetheless, there was a great shelter, and we set up. We had a blast. Mel kind of conned Valerie into hold the controller for a second, and she was flying the Spark. She didn't even know that. That was kudos to you, Mel, for doing that. That's fantastic. We had a great time. That was a lot of fun. It was. We had a great time with that. Master Air Screw have made pros for Mavic Air. Oh, I did not know that. Highly recommend them. Thomas, thank you for pointing that out. I had no idea that they did that. I mean, here I'm waiting on DJI to make probably new SCs and new props and master screws. That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So that's fantastic. That's good news, because I know a lot of people really like their Mavic Airs. And I personally, I love it. And my biggest thing about that is the noise. So Thomas, that's great. Appreciate you're bringing that up right now. So yeah. So getting back to the whole thing about flying unobtrusively. Marcus brought up a good point. Don't be loud about what you're doing. Go about your business and be done with it. Find a good area. And one of the tips, don't fly them in sport mode, though. I've heard they can rev over and it could lead to shutdown. Yeah, thank you, Bill, for posting that. That's a good thing. Do you notice the no RC Toys sign there at Apollo Beach? I think they just, you know what, Don, you're probably right. I mean, yeah, they I haven't been back since the remodel of the beach, so I don't know. So yeah, that's going to be a bummer if that's been shut down, because and that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about was, in conjunction with this law that we just talked about, is finding places to fly. Now, like I said, AirMap is fantastic, but as Mel can attest to, we were going to try to fly up where he had his truck parked, but it was right next to a small private airport. And AirMap said it was okay. I think, if I'm right, Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, but it said that you could fly, and it was like, we all knew there was no way you could fly because we were right next to the airport. But, it's just one of those things. But one of the things that I can sell, Kitty Hawk, yes, Bill, I agree. Kitty Hawk is fantastic. One of the things that I can tell you to do, here's some suggestions and some tips as far as finding places to fly. One of the best ways to go about doing that in an area is get online on Facebook. There's different Tampa Bay RC group. There's Tampa Bay DJI. There's Tampa Bay. There's all kind of things here in the area. Get out there and see. It's not just DJI, but it's anybody. They'll let you know. A lot of times they have meets, and you'll be able to fly. Yeah, we just said, yeah, you're right, Mel. Thank you for reminding about that. That's right. 107 was legal to fly, but we decided not to. Yeah, absolutely right. One of the best things is to get out onto some of the Facebook groups that are local to an area. I know there's one here for Tampa Bay, and actually one of the guys has a post up there, you pinned, of areas and places to fly at. That is one of the things that I highly recommend. You suggest, Mr. Georgia Boy, thanks for showing up tonight. You got out of class early. All right. You're able to join the show. That's great. Yeah, that's one of the things that I recommend, is getting out to Facebook groups in the area that you live in. Or if you happen to be going to an area, get on there. Guys are great. One of the things I can say about groups and forums, now forums are good for classifieds. I've found that out. And people have been very responsive. But getting help on forums, it's kind of like pulling eye teeth. I much prefer getting out on the Facebook groups and asking questions. And people seem more cooperative on the groups than on forums to me. That's just has been my experience all along. So that's what I kind of like to stick with. And that's what I suggest. If you're going to an area, or if the area you live in, find a Facebook group. And, find out where those guys fly. They'll be happy to tell you that. That's probably my number one suggestion. Obviously use your AirMap, Kitty Hawk. UAV light, UAV, whatever you prefer as far as your app is concerned. But one of the things that I do recommend is, looking out on the Facebook groups. I can't emphasize that enough. That will really make a big difference to you. As far as that's concerned. Now, the other thing is, if you're out there looking on your own and you're trying to find spots, it can be hit or miss. If you come across a local park, one of the things that I suggest is maybe going out to that county, see who runs the park, see if the county runs the park. It could be a state park. Here, for example, in the state of Florida, one of the things I can tell you, local park, it's up to the local jurisdiction, whatever county that may be in. They may have rules for that park or not. So you need to check who kind of operates the park. If it's a state park, you definitely cannot fly out. You can't take off or land in it. You can fly over it. That I do know in the state of Florida. But as far as taking off and landing, you can't do that. So, and I've heard some people skirt that rule by taking off from the bed of their pickup truck. So, but I wouldn't try that myself. And BillTheDroneReviewer does not recommend doing that. I say that with a smile, but I would not do that. That's something that I wouldn't do. Go out to websites. You have to, if the Facebook groups aren't of help to you, and you do find a site and you want to find out about it, post about it, put it out there, in one of the local groups and ask, is this a cool place to fly? Is there any restrictions here? Then go out to like a city or a county and take a look at XYZ Park. Is it okay to fly there? One of the things I can tell you is, as far as, or one of the places here in Florida that is absolutely positively not a great place to fly in is Orlando. And I know, I don't know if any of you guys, I'm sure Mitch probably knows, old guy in a drone, flying in Orlando or near Orlando is like next to impossible. I think you have to pay the city like $20 to get a quote unquote waiver for the day. Yeah, Ethan. Yeah, you brought up a good point. Yeah, because being able to take off and land, technically, it's not that park. So, yeah, but I wouldn't do that. That's not something that I would do. But as far as going out and like to Orlando, you have to pay $20 to the city, I think, to be able to get a permit to fly for the day. DJI is working on no-fly zones and restricting areas that are not in runway zones. That's a good point, Lon. Thank you for bringing that up. So we have to deal with no-fly zones as it is. And, with enough, if you got enough, get to know people in these groups and ask. So, that's one of the things that I can say. States that drones cannot be used to spy for surveillance. Social legislation bans taking off or landing in drones in state parks. Yeah. Thank you, Mel. I appreciate you posting that. You have to be careful where you're at. That's the bottom line. And if a law enforcement officer asks you to stop it, don't question him. Don't say, oops, I'm sorry. I need, land your drone safely. Just tell the officer, look, I have to land my drone safely, and I'll be happy to comply with whatever you do. I did not know that I was not able to fly here, and tell them that. Okay. Because, if you go and you find that there's nothing out there, and you contact the city or the county and they say there's nothing out there, but a law enforcement officer says there is, comply with what they say. Don't get a ticket over, insisting that you have the right to fly a drone. That's one of the things that I think is just, you can get into a lot of trouble doing that. So drives me crazy. The folks are so quick to ban drones, but okay with things like loud motorcycles. Yeah. Yeah. Better have that card. You're right, Drone Master. Absolutely. And if you do that, if you're going to do that, one of the things that, yeah, you're right, Lon. One of the things, I highly recommend carry your card with you guys. If you're Part 107, a lot of guys put it on a lanyard when they fly, over their neck. I have it with me. I don't have a lanyard on, but I have it with me. You know, that's one of the things I just absolutely positively don't leave home without it. And also, you know, also have, and I printed it off when I put the registration numbers on my drones. I printed off a copy of the little card, and I got it in my wallet. I should probably laminate it, but it is sitting in my wallet. And also too, you know, I have on my phone, I took a screenshot of it, my proof of insurance. So, you know, I have three things. You know, I have the FAA registration, I have my Part 107, and I have my proof of insurance with me. It's kind of like, almost kind of like driving a car. You know, those are the things that you need if law enforcement talks to you. You know, and that's something you can say, you know, here's my, you know, if he asks you, are you licensed? You know, you can pull your license out. Is it registered? You can show that it's registered with the FAA. You know, comply with whatever they ask you to do, okay? Because it's not worth you're getting fined. It's not worth you're getting into trouble. You know, just comply and then ask. And here's my suggestion. You know, if you do this in a right way, you know, I have to say this. You know, when I've been in fender benders and have got speeding tickets and so forth, they have been so cooperative and so friendly and so nice with me because I talk to them in a pleasant tone and I ask them nicely, you know, and that's one of the things you can ask nicely. How can I find out, you know, whether or not I can fly here? Who do you suggest that I can contact? Exactly right, Lon. You know, don't carry this too far. I mean, you know, people can get stubborn and just be absolutely, totally stupid about it. So, you know, and that's one thing you just don't do. Thomas, that is a great question. Yes, I have flown the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. I've had a couple of flights. I've actually had 3 or 4 flights under my belt. Hard to say. I have to tell you this. You know, looking at that video, man, that video from the Phantom 4 is just crisp. It's just in that mechanical shutter. So, you know, I got to say it's a tie right now, Thomas, for me. You know, taking both of them up in the air. Wow. And I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing a comparison on them, you know, between the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 and the Mavic 2. So stay tuned for that because, you know, that's one of the things I was just itching to get up and get some video. And I did. I got some video from it. And what I'm going to do is fly the same exact path for both drones and then compare the videos, put them side by side so you guys can see. But, you know, I'm seeing some great stuff from the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, Thomas, and really like it. And I think the Mavic 2 Pro camera is stellar as well too. So it's going to be very interesting. So right now it's a tie for me. But maybe kind of leaning toward the Phantom 4 again. You know, I've only had it up a few times, so I'm getting kind of antsy about that. Yeah, you're right, Lon. Exactly. Phantom 4 Pro is a better drone, but the Mavic 2 Pro is more portable. You know, I have a tendency to agree with you on that. And Mel, you're right. The Phantom 4 Pro is a far superior camera of the Mavic 2 Pro. Yes, it is. I mean, you know, having that mechanical shutter on there, and you know, I'm getting to where I'm adjusting the gimbal settings to have a nice, smooth, cinematic shots when I'm adjusting the gimbal when I'm flying. And I did everything. I recalibrated everything. The gimbal, the IMU, compass, the controller, you name it. I recalibrated it. I wanted to make sure it was just absolutely stellar, you know, and I treated it like it was used, but it looks very, very new. I mean, just very new. So yeah, thanks for chiming in on that, Mel. Appreciate that. So going to kind of wrap things up here for tonight. This is kind of probably a great stopping point, but I think we had some good discussion about the where to fly. Do most of you use the mechanical shutter in your Phantom 4 Pro? I haven't had the opportunity yet to Kevin, and I'm looking forward to it. So, and that's one of the things I'm going to be doing, and that's coming up in a video. Yes, Mel, that's what, you know, I watched Billy's video. I watched Ed Ricker's video. I watched someone else's video, and they said it was about 15 to 20%. So thank you. That's a great point. I will definitely do that. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing. The follow pan on the gimbal, yeah, Ethan. Yeah, I agree. From what I've seen on some of the videos, I've been doing that and looking at settings. So it's one of the things I'm going to be doing this weekend is getting some settings on the gimbal and getting some smooth cinematic shots and trying for that. And you know, I just want to see for myself. You know, I've heard a lot of great things, and I just cannot be more thrilled with the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. I was very fortunate to get the deal that I got on it, and it's a brand new drone. I mean, it had 2 hours of use on it. I checked that out. So, and I did before the previous owner wouldn't let me fly it, but I was able to calibrate the compass and got a good signal and got good satellites, and got into the menu and looked at some things before I took off. So the battery had enough of a charge on it to do that. So that's where we're at for tonight. Thank you guys for a great discussion. Thank you all so much for contributing greatly to the chat tonight. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate that. Mel, it's a fantastic drone. I could not be more thrilled with it. Absolutely could not be more thrilled. I'm really looking forward to getting it out and putting through its paces and having a lot of fun with it. So be on the lookout this weekend. I will probably do a live stream with it. I think that's a great way to showcase the OcuSync 2.0 on there. I think that's great. Kevin, thank you for showing up tonight. Art, Ethan, Marcus, Lon, Mel, Kevin, Joe, Thomas, I know Bill Thomas was here. Mr. Georgia Boy was here. Don Carson showing up tonight. Thank you everybody for coming by. I really appreciate that. You guys help make my week. I absolutely love doing these shows. I'm trying to line up some guests. I have a couple in the works here, and I'm trying to get some confirmations. So stay tuned for that. So that's going to be fun. I have my first video on the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. I should be coming out with that tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. So it is, Mel. It's a fantastic, absolutely fantastic drone. I just absolutely. Rick King, thank you for stopping by tonight. David, again, thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Mitch, thank you guys. We'll be coming back, next Tuesday at the same time. Don't forget Bucket List Boys tomorrow night, Coast to Coast Drones, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I will make sure to post a link on my channels so you guys can watch us. Have a great time with Bill Thomas and Ron Brown, two great guys. I absolutely love being on with those. So be on the lookout for that. Thomas, thank you for showing up tonight. I know it's a late. It gets to be late for you over there. So I really appreciate your showing up tonight. William, thank you for being here as well. Chris, thank you. Going to have coming up, it's probably not going to be the first Sunday in April, I believe is Easter, but the second Sundays in April is going to be Tort Drone Law. Thank you very much, Steve Carpenter, for posting that link. Guys, check out that link for that. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, please do smash that like button for me. The next Sunday afternoon Rotor Talk Live will be the second Sunday in April. I believe the first Sunday in April is Easter. So, go spend time with your family and loved ones on Easter and enjoy that day. So we're really looking forward to lots of great things coming up this year. Check out my breaking news video. I'll let it speak for itself. Again, thanks so much for showing up. And remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.